Well, Tyler, my friend, we made it. Both of us
We're here.
made it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the playoff edition, the first ever playoff edition of Any Given Sunday. We are your hosts. I am Coop. This is my good friend Tyler. What a fucking season it's been. And
it has been and I feel like it's weirder and weirder every single year. Which is something that I appreciate about the NFL is that there are so many things that happen that are unexpected. I don't care if it's scripted. I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna watch it. I think it is, but it is. I'm still watching every Sunday. And I'm sure as our viewers who have seen our videos before know this, this looks a little bit different than our normal format. We are going to be discussing each of the playoff teams one by one in our own separate videos. And as you guys can see by the title, the one we're going to be talking about in this video is going to be the Los Angeles Rams traveling to the 8-9 Carolina Panthers in the wildcard.
now I think something that this format gives us the unique ability to do, and it's just not feasible in the regular season. But the thing that this unique format, even within the show, gives us the opportunity to do is look at where these teams came from this year, see how they got where they are, and determine if they're going to go any farther. And I am thrilled by the opportunity to do that with you in what should be a great game of football, one way or another. We obviously could look at the, week 12 matchup between these two teams?
Week
13. We can look at the Week 13 matchup between these two teams and try to use the past to predict the future, but that has never worked in the history of the entire NFL. And I'd actually like to go even further back in Rams history to 2019, if you will, when the Rams played the Saints early in the season, and both of those offenses scored 1,000,000 points, and the Saints ended up on top. Fast forward to the playoffs, they meet again in the NFC Championship game. Nothing controversial happened. A lot less points were scored. And the Rams ended up coming out on top. So I think, personally, something similar is going to happen here with this Rams-Panthers matchup. The Rams are so good. The Panthers can be so good. But I am interested, before I disclose what my keys to the game are and what my final score is, what are your keys to the game for LA and Carolina, and how do you best think they're going to maximize that opportunity?
The biggest key is, and a part of it is that it's a prank score, which is not a Matthew Stafford imploding game. It happened the first time these teams in Week 13 that began the Matthew Stafford MVP decline, if you will, call it that. But that kind of thing is so unpredictable and can't really game plan for it. So I've got to say that the biggest key for the Rams right now is for the team to protect the ball offense. They're not give this offense too many chances, or they will take advantage. This offense is one that is capable of putting in 30 points, and if the Rams let that happen, it makes winning the game much more difficult. So limiting the amount of chances the other team's offense, the Panthers' offense gets, is going to be the biggest key for LA here. And I think that looks like long, sustained drive, a good mixture of running and passing, and just frankly not scoring too early. Because I doubt it's probably the last thing you want. I think that's going to be the biggest key for the LA Rams.
This Carolina team has already shown that if you're going into shootout mode with them, they can keep up despite how good the Rams defense is, and should get better with my first key to the game, Quentin Lake. His return is going to be monumental. It should tremendously help the Rams. Honestly, It's one of the big reasons that I picked the Rams over the Panthers. Because this Panthers team already showed me they can beat the Rams defense. I think Quentin Lake makes that way, way harder. I think that he is really, really good. Even if he's 75% of himself, that's better than whoever they were throwing out there in his absence. Once you start to hit 50%, like if Quentin Lake is having an off day because he's still kind of recovering and he rushed himself back to be ready for the playoffs, I think it might be about even for the Panthers. But Quentin Lake going to have a huge impact on this game as long as he's healthy. He might intercept Bryce Young all by himself once or twice, which the Rams might end up needing if Matthew Stafford decides that he doesn't want to remember how to play football.
I mean, for those of you who don't know, Quentin Lake is a safety on the Los Angeles Rams. He really played a Kyle Hamilton-esque role for this Rams defense. Sometimes he played as a box safety, sometimes he played as a slot, sometimes rarely, but sometimes he will play a deep zone. It really is kind of exactly what you want out of a nickel role defensive back. And the difference between the Rams defense without him versus with him was astronomical. I mean, the last game he played was the first matchup in Seattle. Or I guess Seattle, the game was in LA. But that was when they had only allowed 20 or more points on half their game. Which is a pretty good bar to be at when you're talking about elite defense. And I agree with you that Quentin Lake is going to transform this, hopefully, again. And he is going to kind of fill the gap that I've been since his unfortunate injuries.
Yeah, my second big key for the game, it's as true as your first big key for the Rams. They got to limit the turnovers. And I don't care if it's Matt Stafford or Kyren Williams. You cannot be throwing interceptions. You cannot be fumbling the football. You cannot have those mental or physical mistakes. A big, big part of what cost LA in the divisional round against Philadelphia last year is Kyren Williams fumbled at least once. Matthew Stafford, I believe, fumbled once. And while you certainly can't pin the entire game on those two mistakes, especially when LA had a chance to win it late, it doesn't help. And you can't do that against a team as deadly as the Panthers can be and expect good things to happen. It should be said that the Panthers are not anywhere near last year's Eagles, offensively or defensively, but they have shown that they can beat this year's Rams team in all three phases. And the offense needs to limit that as much as it can.
Yeah, and for the Panthers, I think the key for the Panthers is going to be getting the ground game going a little bit. And I know it's going to be tough against the Rams. Sometimes the elite rushing defense, when they make it the direct point of the game plan, this rush defense is easy. However, I have a feeling that the Rams defensive focus is going to be a little bit more on trying to limit Bryce Young and this passing game that he has up there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The Panthers have to establish the ground game. They did so much damage through the air. It's hard to imagine that won't be where LA's focus lies. And Chuba Hubbard having a down year, Rico Dowdle having a career season, but still a two-headed monster in that backfield. And if they let that loose and Bryce Young's legs are effective, it's going to be really, really tough for this Rams team to contain the Panthers. That being said, I have the Rams winning in Carolina 28-24. I think it's going to be closer than it has any right to be between the best team in the league and maybe the 15th best team in the league. Certainly the worst team in the playoffs. But I think this could perform really, really well for either of these teams. I could see either one of them pulling it out in the end.
I've also got the Rams winning at 30-23. But this one really is a mystery. It could be another upset. It could be a blowout. But I think it's going to be a little bit close. I think it looks like the Rams take a good lead going into the fourth, and then Carolina attempts to make a comeback in the fourth, but it's just a little bit too late, and then they run out of time before they can get that last touchdown. So I think it's going to end up being 30-23.
So we've picked our winners. We both have the Rams winning. Now, this is going to seem like an obvious question for this game. But as we kind of establish our playoff traditions here, I'd love to know, you've picked the Rams to win, but who are you rooting for in this game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like both these. I do like both these teams a lot. I'm excited to see where the Panthers are going to go. I'm excited to see what Dave Canales can do, maybe when the team is a little bit more developed, a little bit more seasoned. But I'm excited to see where the Panthers are going. But I am rooting for my Los Angeles Rams. If they lose again to name 19, people are probably going to call Dak wins MVP and Mickey Mouse MVP. And let that happen. But I am rooting for the Rams. I think and hope that they're going to pull out the win.
Yeah, I mean, it won't stun you to learn that I'm still on the chaos train. I would love to see the Panthers advance the divisional round. It took several miracles for the Panthers to even get here. I would love to see how far they can take it. This will probably be the final week that I'm rooting for the Panthers because I love Seattle, I love Chicago, obviously I love Philadelphia. And you run out of options real quick after those three teams at the top of the bracket. But it should be a good one between the Rams and the Panthers. I hope for your sake that the Rams win, but I am rooting overall for Carolina to pull it out. And forever end the who should get the 4 seed if there's a team with a losing record discourse. And that'll do it for Rams Panthers. Let us know what you think of this new format. We might be able to do more in-depth videos like this on our circled games for each week. It'll really depend on whether or not I'm employed by the time football season rolls in next year. But thank you all so much for watching. Everything, social, all the other videos will be linked down in the description below. And we will see you all in the next video. So long.